Hey guys, I'm Sam, and welcome to the Captain Planet and the Planeteer's command block tutorial. So I'm really glad you're checking this out because that shows you have an interest in command blocks. And command blocks are very interesting, they're very useful, and today, hopefully you'll learn something about them. So the polls are in, and you guys voted for a tutorial for everything. So, yeah, everything got the most votes, and we're gonna go over everything, but for this video, because only we're gonna do the Planeteer power rings. Because if I did everything, it would take years. So I'm gonna divide it up into two videos, and today we are going to be looking at the Planeteer power rings. So yeah, let's get. All right. So first off is the Earth ring. The Earth ring actually got the second most votes. I guess you guys are pretty interested in how that worked. So the ring had two powers. First off was the raise ground power. I'll just demonstrate it quickly. So this one worked by just right clicking on the ground below you, and then it gets raised up. So yeah, you can see here it gets raised off the ground. There's no sound effect because I think I added that later, but you get the idea. You can see how that works. Any mobs got lifted too. So this one is actually pretty simple. I'm probably gonna say that like 50 times. This is pretty simple, but this one actually is pretty simple. It just uses a clone command and a teleport command, along with a, I guess you can call it like a mob command mechanic. So anytime I ran a command by right clicking on the ground. This is a spawn egg, so of course that will spawn like a mob. So in this case it spawns a rabbit. So now, when that rabbit spawns, I can quickly run as many commands as I want from that rabbit until I decide to kill it. So I use that mechanic a lot anytime I had to right click on the ground. So for instance, you'll see here, this command sets that rabbit to a score of E of 1 if it has the custom name Earthring. So this has the name Earthring when you spawn it, so it gets a score of E set to 1. The player also gets a score set to E to 1 when they're holding the ring to get the haste effect. Alright, so then, now these commands are all running from that rabbit with that score of 1 until I kill it. Yeah, here, I teleport it out of the world. So, next up, it's gonna give you another Earth Ring to replace the old one. Then, these are the two main commands. The first one teleports any player 3 blocks up if you're in a 2-block radius of that rabbit. So, if you place this rabbit 2 blocks within you, you'll get teleported 3 blocks up. So that's why you get teleported up with the Earth if you're right like by it. But if you're not, you won't get it because the rabbit's out of the 2-block radius. Okay, so then the second command is just a clone command. So this again executes at the rabbit, and this just clones that ground beneath me, and then it uses the move like type. So you can actually, I don't know if you guys know about this, but you can like move like terrain and stuff using that. So yeah, then it just kills the rabbit. So that's how the raised ground works. So next up, this is the earthquake power. Alright, so I also used some item detection to run commands. So before you saw I used the mobs to run commands, but this time, since I'm throwing the item on the ground, it's going to execute all these commands at that item before killing it. So the way that works for the earthquake, basically, that item's score is going to be set to 1 if it's that earth ring and it's on the ground. So when I throw it on the ground, its score of EG gets set to 1. So now all of these next commands before I kill it are going to be run at this item. Okay, so basically it's going to give you another earth ring. And then I think I missed one, yeah. And then this is how the XP draining works. So, you know, Earthquake costs 5 XP levels. So, this is gonna run at any player who has at least 5 XP levels, and then execute at that item on the ground, and then summon an armor stand. So that armor stand will be used as a timer to time how long the earthquake is, but we'll get to that. Then it's just gonna take 5 XP levels away from that nearest player. Alright, and then it's gonna kill the item. So that's how the item detection works. Next up, it's gonna start adding a score of 1 to that armor stand that was just summoned. So this is gonna act as a timer. So it's gonna go up 20 points a second. So next up, executing at that armor stand with a score from 1 to 150. So that's about like 6 or 7 seconds. And that's how long the earthquake is. And then it's gonna summon more armor stands. So this is like summoning a lot of armor stands now, ranging from those like that time. And then those armor stands are gonna be spread all over the place. And now these are the, I call them Quake. That was the name I gave them. So they're spread all over the place. And now executing at those random Quake armor stands, it's gonna fill different amounts of like blocks below them. So this one fills like 2 blocks below them. This one fills 3. So that's how you get like the holes in the ground, because it's gonna like, you know, do this and whatever. And then executing at more random armor stands, it's gonna detect if the block beneath them is dirt, and then it's gonna summon a falling sand with some motion. And that's why it kind of looks like the blocks are flying, because this falling sand has motion, so it's like, whoa! And then it comes back down as dirt. See, the block is dirt. So I do that again with different motion and different blocks. So here it's detecting if the block is like grass. And then here it's detecting if it's stone. And this one detects if it's sand. So yeah. So it works on all different on a few different types of materials. And if I really wanted to, I didn't have enough room, but I could have like added more variation to the motion. I could have done a lot with this, but I had to keep it kind of simple. Alright, so then it's just gonna kill those Quake armor stands after the 150, and then it's gonna kill that original armor stand that summoned. So let's do the earthquake quickly, and you can see on the sideboard, I think it's set already. Yeah, you can see that's the timer that's going. If I go into game mode 3, you can see all these armor stands are being teleported around, and these fill commands are being executed at them randomly, and these falling sands are executing randomly. So yeah, that's how that works. Earthquake is pretty complicated, so got that out of the way. So now we're gonna look at the fire ring. The fire ring had 2 powers: the summon fireball and the fire spread. So first off, we're gonna be looking at the upgradable fireballs. So this concept just uses like entity data and just kind of scoreboard in general. It's a bit complicated, even though it's just those 2 things, but yeah, let's get started. So once again, this uses the mob commands. So this will like, you know, activate, this will summon a mushroom, and commands will get activated at them. So it will give you another spawn egg, and it will summon a fireball. So let's see if I can find that. Here, this is the one. So it's going to execute at that mob, and it's going to summon a fireball with no direction. Its name is power 1, and explosion power is 1. Then it gives you the next, it gives you another ring, and then it's just going to give that fireball a score of FP of 1. So that's FP is its power, like fire power. so fire FP1 is a power of 1. So now it's just gonna kill the mushroom, and now you're going to get these commands executed at the fireball. So this is executing at that fireball with the power of 1, and it's going to set any item's score to a score of FP of 1 if there are 2 blaze powder on the ground. So basically, when you throw 2 blaze powder into the fireball, you'll see quickly on the scoreboard there should be another FP1 score. Yep. So you saw it there for half a second. Okay. And then after that, after those items have a score of 1, it's going to execute at those items, and it's going to do an entity data at the fireball with the power of 1, and it's going to change its explosion power and name to 2. Then it's going to literally change its fireball score to 2. So that means it has a power of 2, and then it just does a particle effect. Okay. And ooh, something's glitching out. I don't know what's going on there. Then executing at that new fireball with a power of 2, it's gonna kill those items that are on the ground, those blaze powder, and basically it's just rinse, wash, and repeat. So then it just starts all over again, except it's executing at different power now. So now it's just executing at the fireball with the power of 2. And now it's going to set the items of FP to 2 if there's 4 blaze powder on the ground. So, yeah, then it just starts all over. Then the power gets changed to 3. And then the fireball's power score gets changed to 3. And then it does a particle effect. Let me check something. Okay, I don't know. So anyway, if we do this quickly, you can see I'm going to throw 4 on the ground now. And you can see now its score of FP is set to 3. 4, 5, 6. Now it's set to 4. Please no explosion. Okay, good. So, yeah, you can see how that works. FP is just basically keeping its power score. Alright, so next we have the fire spread power. Again, this uses the item commands. So if I go, if I can find the end of it. Alright, so here it's going to set any item's score of FFD to 1. So this is exactly like the earthquake power. It's going to summon an armor stand if you have 5 levels, and it's going to give you another ring. It's going to take 5 levels from you. It's going to kill the item. Then it's going to start a timer on that armor stand. Then while it's this is why, okay. Then while it's running, it's going to summon more armor stands from 1 to 50 ticks, so that's like 2.5 seconds. And then it's going to summon more armor stands, and these armor stands are going to be spread around, just like the earthquake power. And they're going to be spread until the score reaches 100. So they spread longer than they're summoned. I'm not actually sure why I did that, but I don't know. And then it's just gonna, once the score reaches 100, it's gonna set fire right at that block. And then it just kills the armor stands. So, objectives, let's display sidebar FFD. See if we can see this. It's gonna look just like the earthquake. So you can see the timer started. They don't seem to be spread. Yeah, so yeah, you can see now there's just fire all over the place. Let me check. It didn't look like they were really spreading there. Oh, that's because they spread at the last second. That makes sense. Okay, so they don't actually spread until until that 100th tick after 5 seconds. And then, at that same time, it's gonna set the block to fire. Okay, that makes sense. Anyway, that's the fire powers. Alright, so next up is the wind ring. So this might be a bit more confusing because the wind ring had a power that uses left click. Ooh, left click. So hopefully this isn't too confusing, but let's get started. So there were two powers. There was the wind gust power and the wind shockwave. So first off with the wind gust, so basically there's 4 different scoreboard objectives. There's wind click, and wind slime, and wind time. So wind just detects if you're holding the wind ring to give you the effects. Wind slime detects, well, summons the slime that goes in your head. Wind time is the 15-second cooldown timer, and wind click detects if you left click that, which kills the slime. So you can see the player's score of wind gets set to 1 if they're holding the wind ring. Their score of wind slime also gets set to 1 if they're holding the wind ring. Then, if the player has a score of, well, is holding the ring, basically it will summon the slime right in your head. And then right afterwards, right away, it will set that slime score to 2, so it won't summon any more slimes. So this command only runs if your WDS score is 1. So when you set to 2, you'll no longer get any slimes. And then if you go off the wind ring in your hotbar, it kills the slime by teleporting it out of the world. Then it also will reset the WDS score if you're not holding the wind ring. Okay, I think I skipped a few here. These teleport commands basically just teleport the slime right into your head. So every time you click, it will kill it. And yeah, so next up, after we kill the slime, well, no. So WDC is, the objective is like a stat.kill slime. So if you kill the slime, slash scoreboard objective set display sidebar WDC. When I kill the slime, you'll see it gets set to 1. Well, that is some massive lag. So that's because I killed 1 slime. And then if you killed 1 slime, you're holding the wind ring. It will basically do entity data at any nearby mobs in 10 block radius, and will change their motion. So that's how these mobs go flying. I get some chickens. And I just, bam! You can see their the way that works, that their motion changes, and it makes them go flying. So yeah, Mr. Goretto has a tool that allowed me to do this. So yeah, that just works in all different directions. I used to have all directions, but that took up too much command space, so that's why some directions may not work, unfortunately. Yeah, so that's essentially how it works. The only thing that I skipped is that if I change this to WDT, you can see the player's WD, like the time score, is always at 300. So that's 15 seconds, 300 ticks. And when you use the wind ring, it actually resets to 0. And then, so that's why these motion commands only work if you have the score of wind time to 300. And then, yeah, that's essentially it. So motion and whatnot. Then I also kind of have a failsafe here, which is different from, wind ring is different from like the other rings because there's no command that lets you like right click on the ground. So in case you do right click on the ground, I made it so it will kill the sheep. So it just teleports it out of the world. Alright, so that's that. Now we have the wind shockwave. Wind Shockwave also shares the wind time. Um, yeah, shares the wind time uh, objective. So this one is an item, uses the item command. So since you throw the wind ring on the ground to activate this, it's going to execute some commands. So it gives you another ring. It summons an armor stand if you have 5 levels. So just like the other two rings, then it takes 5 XP levels from you and it kills the item. So then it's going to start a timer from that armor stand, just like the other stuff. And basically, it's just going to, for 5 seconds, executing at that armor stand, it's going to summon a fireball. And it's going to be a fireball that's hitting into the ground. And which is interesting here is that the fireball has an explosion power of -10. So I saw a Reddit post a while ago, and it showed that if you use a fireball with negative explosion power, it actually kind of creates a small shockwave. So I found out if you spam summon like a fireball on a clock, it creates like a massive shockwave, and you go flying. It's crazy. So yeah, so that's why you go flying and mobs go flying when you use that, because it's like the shockwave. Then it just gives all mobs resistance and absorption, so you don't die and mobs don't die. And it just does that nice particle effect coming from the sky. And then after 200 ticks, it kills the armor stand. So you can see I'm gonna spawn some chickens. And I'm gonna go into survival. I'm gonna throw it on the ground. I have a lot of XP levels. You can see it starts a new timer. This is the particle effect. We all have potion effects, and bam! Ah! I survived the fall. As far as I know, those chickens survived. But, there's one. Yeah, there's somewhere. I'm pretty sure they survived. I don't know. Yeah, there's one right here. So yeah, oh here they are. Yeah, they survived. Okay, so yeah, that's how that power works. I just thought, taking advantage of this cool feature. All right, so that's the wind ring. All right, now we have the water ring. So the water ring again uses these mob commands, and so like right click on the ground will summon a squid. Then that squid will summon an armor stand. If you have 5 levels of experience, it takes 5 XP from you. It gives you another water ring. It kills the squid, and now a clock will start on that armor stand, and it will summon more armor stands that will get spread around, just like the earthquake one. So from 31 to 50 ticks, they will get spread around. And then once you reach 50 ticks on that timer, it will just set all the blocks below those spread armor stands to water. And then it will just kill the armor stands. So, I'll try to do this quickly. This is going to look just like the earthquake power. They're all spread around, all spread, and then, just like that, they created a pond. So you can see the timer on the side, it's going to go to 50, and then, bam. So, yeah, that one's pretty simple. It's like the same mechanic as the earthquake. Then, alright, so then we have the second power that allows you to walk on water. This one is a pretty simple version to do that. Like, if I were to make like a full concept out of it, I would have made it like a lot better. So the way this works is that like just holding the item allows you to walk on water. So when you hold the item, your score of WTI gets set to 1. But basically, if it finds, well, if it detects that the block that you're in, like right there, like my legs, then it's gonna set the score of WTI to 1. And then executing at the player with the score of WTI 1, it's going to detect if the block below you is water. And if it is, it's going to set the block below you to ice. And then these next 4 commands are just to detect direction. So you can see here, these are different like directions, like RYM and RY. That's like north, south, east, and west. So they're different per command. So depending on what direction you're facing, it will set the block behind you back to water. So I don't really know the directions, but yeah, so they're different depending on what direction you're facing. So if I go here, you can see water, and then ice, and then it gets set to water, and then yeah, and then there you go. So nope, still can't go too fast because I'm recording. But you see, it works pretty well. Yeah. You gotta go pretty slowly, but not this slow usually. Yeah. So that's why like this won't work if you're actually in the water, because the block at your feet isn't air, it's water. So that's pretty nice. Okay, so that is the water rings. So lastly, we have the heart ring. So the heart ring works with the same mob command technique as most of these other rings. It's gonna, oh, I'm not the wrong one. when you place the pig on the ground, when you right click, it's just gonna summon an armor stand. If you have 5 levels, it's gonna take 5 levels from you. It's gonna give you another heart ring, and then it's gonna start a clock on that armor stand. Then for how long is it? For 200 ticks, so that's 10 seconds, it's going to do an entity data command. So there's 2 entity data things going on. There's in love being set to 10, and there's age being set to 10. So basically, in love will, you know, make the animals want to breed, and then age will, like, that's an age. The age works like depending on what their age, they can breed again. So I have to keep changing their age so they'll be able to breed. Yeah. So that one's pretty simple. It's just that one thing. There's also there's also particle effects going on if I can find that. Yeah, there's just particle effects at anyone in the area. So yeah. Slash TP chicken at P. Oh boy. Okay, so this should be interesting. So they're gonna breed. Yep. They're. Oh man, they are multiplying. They are. Oh jeez. That is a lot of chickens. So, yeah. Baka. um. Heart ring. There we go. All right, guys. Well, that's that. I really, yeah. I hope this wasn't too confusing. I'll have the Captain Planet command tutorial up next. Ooh. So you have that to look forward to. That should be coming out soon. And anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. And I hope this was helpful. I don't really know because I'm kind of bad at talking with tutorials and whatnot. But if you'd like to try these things out for yourself, I'll actually have the schematic, not the like one command thing. I'll have the schematic for these different separated clocks in the description, so you can check out these commands yourself. You can mess around with them, and if I was bad at explaining, you can try to do it yourself. Oh god. Look at all the hearts. That's crazy. Ah. So, oh my goodness. So yeah. So I'll have that. Check that from the description. Anyway, guys, I hope you guys enjoyed. So thanks so much for watching. I will have more videos coming up, and I'll see you soon. Bye.